All right. So this is going to be fun.
Wow. So, welcome everybody to Behind the Mask. I don't know what was going on. As you guys can see, I am on the road driving home. So, this is going to be a Dennis led uh, episode. And we've got Niles from Cyclones on. Welcome, Niles.
Morning, afternoon, evening. How y'all doing?
Yeah, we're,
Doing great, my friend.
yep. And we
And then with us, as always, Mr. Lupe Leyva,
The
Paintball
ghostest with the
Dad.
mostest.
Hey, Lupe, I want to thank you for that wonderful find today.
Oh,
And-
dude. I thought it was a snippet from Commando at first. I'm like, wait a minute, this guy looks like the Indian guy from the Justice League. I was waiting for him to get bigger and grow through the roof.
Oh my gosh! So okay, let's go through our normal routine real quick, guys, before I actually talk about what I what I started mentioning. But all right, guys. So welcome to the show. Of course, if you guys have not been on the show before or have not seen us, this is Eugene, your host, along with Dennis, my wonderful co-host, as always. And we are a paintball podcast all the time. All we do is talk about paintball, and sometimes when Lupe brings up other stuff, we talk about that too, because we just go off for
Wednesday stuff.
So
Exactly, Wednesday stuff, exactly.
Right.
But really quick, guys, so best way to find us is on Instagram at Behind the Mask Media. Also on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, OnlyFans,
MySpace.
MySpace, Farmers Only, everywhere. You guys can find anywhere there's
AOL
social media,
Messenger.
you're probably on it. Hey, I used to
That's
love
good.
that thing. But all right, guys. So I am going to be on as long as I can, talking to these wonderful gentlemen, and you guys might see me dip out and come back because again, I'm on the road and
Be
I don't
safe.
have the greatest signal. So, anyways,
Yeah.
and Niles is
seriously-
on the road, right? Are you
Nope.
at home?
I'm leaving tomorrow. Leaving
But it
tomorrow.
wasn't the only one.
Ah.
I totally just imagined him like, how's it going, guys?
He's got the phone propped up on the steering wheel as he's driving
Yeah,
the
on
bus.
the steering wheel.
Hey, I actually have a holder for all that. So I have an iPad in one of them, and I have a phone in the other one. So it works
okay.
out.
And it's like, we got Niles with us now. Ah, you got the snowman. You know, he's got it down.
That's great.
The big bear, this is
Roger,
rubber duck.
Yeah.
I just pictured him with a
I'm
flannel
used to it.
shirt and that hat and in a big ring.
And Fred next to him.
I get it. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get together and actually do that.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
See,
We'd
I'm
do
telling
it.
you,
Oh my
boys,
God.
all you got to do is get here, and then at World Cup, either ride. Well, you could ride with him.
Let's
There
do
you
it.
go.
Get them out there.
Oh my God, imagine Dennis riding with Niles, me riding with Lupe, and we're straight doing a Smokey and the
Yeah.
Bandit. The bus
Amen.
right behind us.
Oh, we do it.
See who
We do it.
see who get the Lone Star fastest to Orlando.
There you go.
That's great.
Oh my God, that'd be hilarious. I think we could.
And I won't
plan
have the
that
room,
out.
but Niles could probably deliver the elephant back to Texas. So
You got it. Absolutely.
again, more Wednesday stuff. Jeez.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, this is great. Oh, guys, I'm so glad to be able to. I actually came on, and I wasn't going to come on. I was going to let Dennis handle the whole thing. But really quick, guys, since I am on the road, let me just mention our official sponsor. Yes, Ghost.
Ghost.
This is what's going to be fueling my drive today, along with my food that I picked up at Jack in the Box. But yeah, so
Meal of Champions. Yeah, it's exactly what the Cannonball Run.
Cannonball Run.
oh man, that would be even better. Oh my God, a Cannonball Run to World Cup.
Oh my God.
Oh, dude.
The
We know-
stories behind that.
Hey,
Oh my God.
yeah, I had to do that in Florida. And I thought I was going to take a nice leisurely drive out there. And then lo and behold, I'm like almost to Pensacola. And I was going to stop in Pensacola. And then Haley goes, well, we need pods at 10:30 for our practice Wednesday. I'm like, okay, so I guess I'm not stopping. I made it like by 10. You want to talk about eastbound and down. I set the cruise control on 75 and was just letting her rip. I'm like, this has been the nicest, most. I didn't even get caught in Baton Rouge, which is a miracle, but or Hammond. And I was like at that Buc-ee's in Pensacola, and then I get that text at like 11 at night.
See, the guys get mad at me. They get mad at me because when I get to going late at night, I'm in that mode. I turn the music all the way up, and they can hear it in the back, so they're all pissed off because they got to put their headphones in.
Like, oh no, they can't sleep.
Oh man.
God
Makes it fun
forbid.
though.
God forbid.
All right. Let's reel it back in, guys. Let's reel it back in. Paintball.
And
Paintball.
That is paintball related.
It is. That's true. It is paintball related, but I know that we're thinking. I'm already picturing Cannonball Run. We're all going to start from
Yeah, we're all going to do that exactly. We're just going to sit there like that. Yeah.
Now it's going to be in the
I got it
bus.
planned out in my head.
It's like
yes.
The war guys are going to be in their van. I'm going to be in an ambulance with Dom DeLuise, and you know.
That's great. Filming the whole thing, right?
Stacy's going to be on the stretcher as the patient.
See,
oh my God.
I was already. I was like planned everything out in my head. I was like, damn. Me and Dennis will get like a sports car. We'll get the tight, sexy leather outfits and sit down in the.
Good night, everybody.
You had me till you got to that.
Thank you. Yeah, you and me both, Niles. You and me both. Yikes!
Damn. Oh, I'm scarred for life.
All right. Yes. On to why we are all here and why you guys are out there watching and listening. As Eugene said, we've got Niles Burgess, owner and coach of Cyclones, with us. We've got Lupe Leyva. We've got Lupe with us. He's a longtime friend of the show as well. You know, father of Haley Leyva, Destiny player, as well as coach of. What are you doing? AC Kids? You're doing Destiny Kids? What other teams are you coaching right now?
I'm just doing Destiny Texas right now.
Okay.
And that's because they're just very easy to deal with. So.
Yeah, but you know what? You're always the sport and the spirit behind all the teams. No matter who's out there and where you're at, you're always the guy that everybody looks to and comes to for help and assistance and advice and encouragement, and we appreciate that. I know I have over the years.
That's really hard to argue, Lupe. It's hard to argue.
I mean, I hate seeing anybody stymied. I mean, even some of these rookie teams that we played against yesterday, I was like, hey, you might want to think about this. They were playing against them, One of them was one of the kids that played for Pro Edge, and he was, it's like I always would tell the kids, you got a needle that goes both ways, right? You got fight or flight. This kid was buried in flight at least a year and a half ago. Now he's full blown fight, and I'm really proud of him. He did really good. They placed first in rookie. Well, I told him to get a hair. I said, "Congratulations, get a haircut, hippie," and then walked away. So parents thought it was hilarious.
Speaking of that 3-man event, let's go ahead and we're going to move into our first segment of the show real quick here. So. All right. Now, back to that. So, as you were saying, you actually just attended the 3-man tournament with Destiny Texas.
Yes.
So, tell us a little bit about how things went.
Okay. Well, they went 4-4, which.
Okay.
3 of them, or no, 2 of them. This was their very first tournament. One of them played Bunker Fest. So that was, I mean, it was, so I always set my expectations very low. I said, okay, I know it's rookie, but the two, one of them had never played with them before.
Okay.
I just picked them up for rookie. And I was like, okay, one win, I'll be happy. You know, set the bar low. And I said, but no, they screwed the pooch on the first one because they didn't get enough. There was only two of them in the box. And it was kind of my fault. I got there late because I was out for Stacy's birthday that night with the whole Jackson bunch and all them. And I said, okay, sure. I can't stay out late. I got to get up at 5:30. Well, you know, I woke up and I see daylight and I'm like, but anyway, so I get there just in time for the second point. And I said, all right, let's do this and this and this. I would have rather had Haley. Haley is a way better coach than I am. She breaks down fields probably like Niles does. So I'm just like, okay, we'll just go there and shoot that way. Well, I mean, I guess, you know, simplicity is, you know, the best method there. And
yeah,
they won that point pretty convincingly. And it was kind of funny because then I show up and like some of these guys on these other teams that I know was like, what, you're coaching them? What about us? I'm like, this who pays the bills, sucker. Like,
right?
So they won that one, then they won the next one, then they lost the next few. But anyway, they ended up 4-4. They were like barely missed the top 8, which was, you know, so I told them real proud of them. I told them what they needed to work on, and I told them to take the weekend off. So
okay. Very cool.
Hey, that's not bad for a first event. I mean, that's what you strive for, right?
Right. I mean,
improving every time. That's fantastic. That's a good place to be.
Yeah, and you know, at Bunker Fest, they played their first 5-man in D5, and I was, you know, just hoping for, you know, I was just hoping for one win again there because none of them had played a tournament before that Bunker Fest, and it was some pretty good teams. And I mean, it wasn't X-Ball. I said, no, let's not do X-Ball yet because, you know, that's a whole different kind of animal. And then, you know, I didn't want to shock them with the cost of that either, even though Bunker Fest, the paint's relatively cheap, you know. Mm. So we played that, and we barely missed the top cut on that too, which was great, you know. So, yeah, you know, out of all our Destiny squads, we're like the second newest one, which the newest one right now is Destiny Germany, and they just played their first event a couple weeks ago in France somewhere, right? No, not France, Amsterdam. It was the first European event, so and apparently
that was France
too. Was it France?
Yeah, that was France.
Can't even. So, but they did pretty good at that too. So, and then you know we got all the Florida lines, the Carolinas, and you know, so B's happy with us, you know, and we're just trying to get things rolling with the Texas squads here. So basically, sure. Houston squad.
You're doing a good job at that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they kind of they all I'm doing is organizing. I'm like a you know a union guy. I mean, I'm not pushing cabs into the water. I'm just organizing.
Yeah. So speaking of Texas teams, I'm gonna kind of slide over to the next thing that I should say one of the next things going on in Texas right now. So last week we talked a little bit about you know the WCPPL expanding in and taking over USXBL. Well, Mike Hinman's not done making moves. He's now going to be taking over coaching duties for Diesel.
Yep.
So that's kind of an interesting move as well. And here's the thing, and I'm curious to get your opinion on this, both of you guys. As the owner of Aftermath, but coaching Diesel, how much of a conflict of interest do you think that is?
I would have to say, yeah. I mean, without incriminating myself in that, I mean, that would be tough. You got loyalty to two places. That's a tough one to be.
Yeah.
And although, make no mistake, it's a money move, right? It's about growing the sport, being better, money, and Diesel's got all this huge, great talent, but that talent they bought hasn't really performed. So
Have
we
you
need
been?
to go ahead.
You been to any of their practices yet, Niall, or around that?
I haven't. Not in a while.
Okay, well, I have. They needed something.
Can't
I've
argue
been,
that fact for sure.
I've been in their pits at 2 tournaments now and at practices because I usually help them out because Haley doesn't need me hanging out with them, and we got AC Moms handling their business. So
Right.
Greg will always ask me to come help them, and it's been a little bit of a shit show from the start, and I think they brought. And that brings what I'm wondering is if Mark had hired away Hinman, because there's no way he's doing that for free.
That's what I said. I agree. Yeah, it's about money for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But and as far as that aftermath, what do you do when a couple of your Cyclone lines play against each other? It happens all the time, You just gotta, you're gonna come out a winner either way, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. And I do think that with the talent and the money that was spent for Diesel and not getting the performance that was expected, there had to be a move this year.
Yeah.
They couldn't afford to wait any longer.
There was 2 moves.
Mark's.
A-Rod's gone now, so.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't see that one. I didn't see that move either. I missed that.
Wow. I did. I was wondering, and I honestly, I thought it was going to be J-Rap, to be honest, because he was kind of the one hollering the most at the practices and getting ticked. I thought it was going to be him.
Oh, wow.
Mouse doesn't say much. Kyle doesn't say everybody seemed to be going with the flow except for him.
Right.
A-Rod was just kind of he was kind of quiet about it. He came out of retirement, and I guess maybe he just decided, you know what, I didn't want to come out of retirement for this. And because you notice he's not on another team, or at least not yet.
Yeah, that was the next thing I was going to say, is that him leaving Diesel, there's a huge question mark there because of the fact that he, at least as of yet, has not signed with another team. So
I don't think he can.
He can up till Chicago.
Up till Chicago, yeah. Rosters are locked at Chicago.
So with all that being done and all the changes making, I would expect. Mark had to do something big enough to. He already made a statement, right? Spending a lot of money, they went through the finances, put the whole thing together, and didn't get any performance. You had to see something coming with coaching because nothing had improved. It actually gotten worse on the field, not better.
Yeah.
And with that much talent, that's tough.
Yeah, and I love Greg to death, but because I deal with them a lot with AC kids and stuff. But it seemed like a similar thing that happened with Vicious when they didn't give him the heave ho like they did with Vicious though. He's still with the team. True. So I just don't know what capacity now. So
yeah, and
I'm happy for that.
Yeah, and Mike Hinman has a long history in the sport. He's been a pro player for a number of years for a number of teams. Mm-hmm. And he's also got a reputation for being very no nonsense. Like he expects a lot from the players, and if they don't live up to those expectations, he makes sure that they're aware of it. As seen when he was in the pits with Aftermath, going back and forth with Extreme. Mm-hmm. There's some heated things going. Now, granted, Harris was part of that, so
yeah.
But it's hard to argue with Mike's pedigree, and mm-hmm. I'd be curious to see if maybe Diesel starts to make good on the predictions that everybody had because of all of those signings and everything like that. It's like you said, Niles, that's a lot of talent to do nothing with.
Yep. And unfortunately, They got worse. They got worse, not better. Not even the same. They actually got worse.
Yeah.
And so.
it just seems like maybe their roster's a little too big. It's not. I mean, the AC way is usually a 6-man squad, so 8 would have been great.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, heck, even AC kids work with we ran with 5 at Texas, and we made it all the way to semi. So
yeah.
Wow.
But,
I don't know.
But a lot of people on the team. So.
And again, it starts to make you think back to the whole Super Saints fiasco, you know? I mean, a lot of there's some players involved in this that were involved in that, you know, that whole situation with the Latin Saints initially as well. And it's like,
Okay, but you know what? It just hit me the other day. What the difference between the Latin Saints versus this is when they made the super team with the Latin Saints, they cut all the old Saints.
Yep.
Yeah.
Diesel.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
They didn't cut any. The only person they dropped was Logan. Well, both Logans. They dropped both of those guys.
Yeah.
Hansel and oh my gosh, what's Logan's name? But the other Logan that was on that team, the 2 younger guys, they dropped those 2. And then Clint Johnson, I thought he was off the team. Well, he comes back. So they still got a humongous roster of all these old diesel guys. When they first started hearing about all this stuff, because remember I was typing it as it was going on.
Yeah.
Greg told us a few days before when we were in Dallas. And he said, "Don't tell nobody." I'm like, okay. And then when they finally announced it, I was like, "Hey, get this." And but I just was wondering, you know, I was like, well, they're obviously gonna have to cut somebody, and they really kind of got rid of 2 people, and they didn't do it at first. So.
Yeah, and I think when they added some of the extra people they did when they first started rebuilding, like when they added Logan's, both of them to the line, I think that was out of desperation, though, wasn't it? More of it, they needed people to fill a spot, and they were given opportunities and trying to do it locally. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Yeah. Because Logan.
So I think
Hansel
they kind of do it.
Yeah, Logan Hansel was an add-on at right at Cup, and then oh my gosh, I cannot remember the other Logans. I know Cliff.
Can't
his
think
dad's
of
name is Cliff. Cliff. Logan Dyer, D-Y-E-R.
That's it.
Logan Dyer had been with the team for probably over a year, and so. But yeah, I mean, so I just, you know, now I think I was like, you know, they didn't cut anybody. But so, I mean, it's that almost the same identical line from last year that was Latin Saints that got first or second the first event last year?
First event of the year, they took first place, yeah.
And then after that, it was, you know, they nosedived because everybody bailed on them. So.
Yeah.
So, but I mean. When I was working the pits in Florida, it was just the rotations of people were just, you know, it's like, you go, you know, it was one of those kind of deals. It seemed like
that's tough to run that way.
Yeah, there's no real cohesion or you know, actual plan thought out. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there was a rhyme or reason for it. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, and I'm not a pro coach, so I guess there was some reason why it was going like that. But I mean, it was just, I was in their pits for the very first point, and you know, all the GI people were there to watch it. You know, Dresser was, you know, because this is like a big deal, right? And the first point they go sweeping down the field against Ironman, and then the next point. They lost. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then it just went all downhill from there.
Man, I remember that. It was almost, it was you know, when they started out really strong and then they quickly flipped and then it got worse from there. Mm-hmm. So, no, 100%. But I look to see great things happening now with the changes.
I hope so.
Obviously, Hinman's one of those guys that has a plan. He's very proactive, and so he's also controlled, right? And I think that's probably what they need right now. When you have that much talent and those players are playing for so long, typically what happens is you got too many egos in there, and sometimes a bigger coach comes in there and realigns things a little bit puts people in check and gets them in their position, and things work better. And that's what I would see for this next event. I'd love to see how this turns out.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. You and everybody else watching.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you two what you think of this. So let's just say after Philly, would you be surprised if he cut some of the original Diesel guys?
No,
Not at all.
no.
And
Again, it literally comes down to, putting it literally getting the best return for your dollar.
Yeah.
And even though some of those older guys have been with the squad for so long, and I mean they're AC ride or die, they've got to do something with the investment.
Hey guys,
So, I mean,
guys, this is
Yes,
God speaking.
Gene.
we hear you, God.
It feels so weird to just be sitting here listening to you guys, but I'm also eating and driving. But so I wouldn't doubt that Heyman already has a list of his top guys that he's going to cut if after the next event it goes bad. And it's going to start with, like you guys mentioned, money. It's going to be with his money the most expensive if they don't produce at all. Because it feels like the last event, they just didn't produce. Period. So that's just my feeling.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it'll certainly be interesting to see how this shakes out, because like as you said, Niles. I mean, Mike's got a very firm hand. We've seen how he has managed teams in the past, and take that for what it's for. How you want. Some people don't agree with his bedside manner. They don't necessarily agree with his approach, but it's hard to argue.
Yeah, how do you get mad at someone that is confident enough in what he does and has proven over and over again what his success rates are?
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be the best at the deliverance. It's the end result that matters, right? And sometimes you got to put your personal feelings aside and understand there's an ultimate goal here. And coming from a guy that's got such a big roster and many lines who have the same conversations, not at that level, obviously, but
it's still a very similar situation.
Ugly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've made some cuts this recently.
Yeah, and I'm sure you guys both have had egos to deal with in the past.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So
just one.
That's a whole nother conversation, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, last thing that I wanted to bring up for our tournament segment, and this has obviously got a lot of speculation surrounding it, but the captain of the Sacramento Diamonds, WNXL, recently posted on her Instagram that the entire roster has been cut. As of the last time I checked, I have not heard anything about whether the Diamonds are going to continue as a franchise within the WNXL or if this was the end of it. But there's a lot going on there.
Really quick again, God speaking again. No,
this is like the telephone from Born in East LA.
Right?
Jesus, ay, Jesus, get a cerveza. Give me a beer. But what I did see on the Instagram, and I wish I could look it up, who exactly that put it, in their whole post I read through, they said that as of that day, there is no more Sacramento Diamonds.
That was Allison
Cook.
Cook.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
So it is unfortunate, especially because, I mean, really, you only gave a team a year and a half, like a year and not even a year and a half. It was just a year and one tournament, and that's it. Carry on. Converse amongst yourselves.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, this news comes as, not only a shock, obviously, but there's a lot of kind of controversy surrounding it, because there hasn't been anything said as to why. What exactly is going on. Now, I have heard, and I'm going to say that these are just rumors, but I have heard things ranging from just in terms of performance that they kind of wanted to just build from the ground up, to situations where basically sponsorship packages. The ladies were told, this is what you were going to get if you were to, for example, ref at a Capital Edge tournament series, and then that helps to pay for your sponsorship package. And then at the end of the season, they were told, no, pay up. So I don't know. I mean, there's so many moving parts. Now, I'm gonna also say that after the inaugural WNXL event, there were some very loud voices talking about, voicing their displeasure with not only how the event was run, but the eventual winners of that event. And I mean, she was very vocal about it. And some of the things that she had mentioned was, talking about coaching and kind of management of the team, and how the people in place there were not, Dave Baines. She called out Dave Baines specifically, saying that he didn't really feel like she felt like he wasn't really investing time in the team, and they were more of like a nuisance to him. Now, Lupe, we talked a little bit about this, and you said you've seen differently, correct?
Yeah, that person is kind of a nuisance to everybody here and in Louisiana. So it's hard to take what she says about that, because he benched her like one match in at the first WNXL. And of course she quit, because, it's one of those instances where you tell her to go left and she goes right, no matter what. That she she knows better than everybody else. She's the greatest paintball player in the world, and she can't understand why she can't get on a team. Well, she had to go international to get on a team. So, but having said that, I'm starting to hear it from other people that, Dave Baines really just didn't want nothing to do with that team. And I find that incredibly, how can I put this? I find that kind of shitty that somebody with that much money to throw around to two men's pro teams would make them pay for their stuff. I mean, our Destiny's not rich by any means.
Right.
But, I mean, they treat the girls right. And I mean, I would like to think, and not because I'm part of all this, but I mean, you don't see none of our girls really leaving, unless it's something, we got one that's out because she's pregnant. We obviously had the unfortunate demise of Michaela. And, sometimes life gets in the way, but I mean, everybody's happy on our team, but we take care of them, It's not going to pull nothing shitty like that.
Yeah.
Can I say something on that too?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you would know better than I would.
See, here's the problem with most paintball in general, right? Is most, and I suppose I was at another field this week, and they invited us out, and we had a great time and had some time to visit with people. But here's the reality of it. I work very, very hard for every dollar of sponsorship that we get. I'll promise you, for every dollar that they give us, I spend $5, right? And not just whether it's advertisement, it's showing love, it's working. Carbon is a perfect example. When they're going to be at different areas, we volunteer our time to help set the booth up. Same with Lux. Well, let me help you set it up. I get there early. Can I haul stuff for you? Let's help with the takedown. See, the problem is people think that putting your name on the jersey accounts for something. That's nothing. It's all the other extra work. There's thousands of teams out there and thousands of players. And it really doesn't matter how good you are if you don't give back to what the sponsors are doing. And the problem is, and I feel I'm blessed because we have some great supporters out there that have done wonderful things. Carbon just boxed up a whole bunch of new jerseys, the new 12 new masks they're sending to the guys for them.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's like, oh, they gave them to you. Well, yes, but there's work that goes into that, right? I mean, I share more social media. We go out and we show people. I give them masks to use. And we got new pod packs. So I took all the extra pod packs and say, you find me teams that need product, I'll give them our pod packs from last year. I'm not selling them. I'm giving them to them. I want them to learn with them. If we go out to HCPS, this is the only one we didn't miss because it was layout weekend. We had a lot going on, so we had to miss this one. But I always go out and give them my Shockers or our Luxes for them to use because that's how you get them in the hands of potential buyers. The problem is that doesn't happen very often. And for any player to think that they're owed anything is a concern for me. And my players are the same way. Sometimes they get a little. I think they're spoiled sometimes, and they don't appreciate everything to their fullest. Right? They get used to getting things, but they're required to set the layout up at the field we play at. Right? We Lux. 2 of the events this year, we set up the booth. Help set up the booth for Lux. That's how you earn that stuff. So I agree with you, but you got a lot of money thrown around, but it's not free. You got to do something for it. All players need to understand that they got to work for all this stuff. It's not free. If that means you got to go out and do something for the field, I tell my players they got at least 2 days a month that they work at the field. If that's regridding it, that's setting it up, that's sweeping it, whatever it is.
Yeah, really quick, guys. So, listening to this, so I think a lot of these teams, or not the teams themselves, but I think the people that own the teams are missing out on a great opportunity with this, all women's league, and I think NXL is missing out on a big opportunity with them too. And I think all these women that are in the pro teams are more than happy to give back because they know how fortunate they are, but they're not given the opportunity to do it. I think the only team that I see that's really getting out there more than other than Destiny is like Vibe.
And I think that's all JD right there.
Yeah.
And Vibe still pays for their stuff. I've talked to many of the girls, and they say, yeah, they have to work for it. There's contributions to what they do, which is the way it should be to a certain degree, right? But they also get a lot of support. They're in the community. They're helping out. They're working at the events. They do a great job. Haley is one of my favorite because no matter where you're at, what she's doing, she's always willing to be a part of something, right? And so sponsors love to get with her and get knowledge and help out, and because she's that person that is willing to give back, right?
Yeah,
we need more of that. And go ahead.
Yeah, there's like a little girl that she helps out with that plays with Rampage kids. And Isabella, and I actually, because Haley didn't go to this last event because she was tired, but I had to FaceTime her at one point because she wanted to talk to Isabella before she went on and played her point. So
exactly.
But yeah,
that's awesome.
And as far as that kind of stuff, with Destiny, it's a little harder because Haley's here, and then some of the girls are in Ohio and New England area and Florida. So, but like after she comes back from Montana, she's going to NR Paintball, and they're doing a 3-man tournament. And that's put on Maryland. Yeah. So she's going to that, and then it's also kind of a de facto just getting back with the girls because they've had such a long layoff since. Their last tournament was in March. Right. And I don't know what they were thinking. I guess they figured that they would move the layoff because last year they played in Philly. This year they're gonna play Chicago. But that's a long time not to be playing together.
And that's why I say that NXL is missing. They're messing up. They have an opportunity to start drawing in more females, and with this, and they give them a huge layoff like this. It's like, why give them a layoff? Just let them play.
Yeah, just like I have to question the NXL's decision on not having a WNXL, bracket for each of the events this year.
Well, they do. They have one they technically have one at every one of them. But since it's not a pro event, none of the girls really they're not going to go unless it's the pro event. So they've got like a 5-man minor league one because they're also doing the kids bracket too.
Yeah,
and 3 and 5 man, and they're actually drawing more for that than they are. So I think at Texas there was 3 teams for 3 women's teams, and none of them. I mean, I think no. I was gonna say I know a lot of the femmes were there, but they were playing 10-man. I mean, Tammy and Todd and all them were playing on a team together because Carla is finally back. So.
I think you're right, though. Yeah. I think they should have something at every event, even if it's the girls coming down and hosting something at the events to get more of the young ladies into it. And they need to advertise it more. They don't.
They do.
Not near like they should be.
Well, and Niles and like me and Dennis and what am I blanking for?
Your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ?
God. What? God's name. Why am I thinking God? Yes, because I can't see your face.
I got it in his head. I got it stuck in there.
Oh, I'll get you with something good. But we had talked. We had talked about that a few weeks because I know Niles. Remember, Haley went and did that seminar at A&M with Yes, I sent every bit of that information to Tom Cole. I sent it to the WNXL's page, and I said, hey, look, this is what she's doing. They're paying her to do this. We probably ought to put it out there. Nothing. Yep. Didn't hear nothing from nobody. So, yeah.
Crazy. That's unfortunate. What an opportunity.
Yes. And it was awesome. It was like I was expecting like maybe 10 people. No, she taught a whole class, and then when she gave her talk, it was standing room only. There was 60+ people in there. It was incredible.
And then took her to the field, and then was the field too. It was great.
Yes, we went to the field twice, and then when we went back to the field, a bunch of those people went over there with us. Whole A&M squad was there. A bunch of the students, because they teach 3 paintball classes there. This is part of their kinesiology degree. I mean, if it's not, I mean, they can take it if they want. It's part of their kinesiology credit. I was like, that's amazing. Yeah, Dan Gomez is doing a knockout job with that. I mean,
man, I miss that guy.
I reached out to him and he never responded. He doesn't like us.
He's tough to get a hold of.
He's a busy man, but he's also one of my favorite players growing up.
I remember way back in the blackout days when Alvin.
Yeah. Or when he played for A&M back with the A&M versus UT way back in the day. They used to have that big event every year. It was good. So.
Yep. All right. I think he played with VCK too. No, not VCK. Maybe it was VCK.
John's team.
Yeah. VCK
Organized Chaos.
AC Dallas eventually, so. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Organized Chaos.
Organized Chaos, yeah. And was the most humbled guy I'd ever met in my life, really.
Yeah. Still is.
Just incredible. He'd definitely be somebody worth spending more time with for sure, but anyway.
Yeah. But, I mean, like I said, he might be a little easier to get a hold of now that it's the summer. Because, I mean, he does judo up there, too.
Oh, wow. Holy crap. We went from real estate to all that.
Yeah, I can't get in on
that.
So.
Great. Oh man.
All right. Well, I'm gonna close out that segment. We had some nice meaty stuff to talk about, and then we'll get started up again. So give us a sec here. All right. Now comes the fun part. Now comes the Wednesday talk.
Oh boy.
No. I'm just kidding.
No. So really, actually, what I was thinking about while I was listening to you guys, again, weirdest thing to not really be on the show and be kind of behind.
And talking from the bottom of the trash can.
Yeah, pretty much. But But listening to being like the fly on the wall is the weirdest thing for this to be on the show. So, but anyways, now you had brought up something when it came to growing the sport, when it came to Hitman, and this was something that we talked about last week, Dennis, when we got onto our soapbox because the WCPPL bought the usable league, and they're trying to spread themselves out, obviously, because they feel as though they're threatened by Bunkerfest.
By
Because
Bunkerfest.
Bunkerfest
Yeah.
puts on a great show. Now, growing the sport, we had talked about something about getting outside sponsors. That's probably really grow the sport. Now we have John and Niles. What do you guys think of that?
It's the key.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard to do, but you got to represent it correctly.
Well, here's the problem though, Niles, is that I don't know if you had a chance to listen or watch the show from last week, but I honestly feel like the powers that be. I'm just going to use the NXL as an example. They can talk about wanting to grow the sport and wanting to expand the player base and make it more accessible. But the problem is that if they do that by bringing in outside sponsors, and again, I'm going to use, big names, drawing back to the days of Dynasty having Intel as a sponsor, Impact having Mini Cooper as a sponsor. That's a lot of money backing those companies, and Intel especially. What would stop them from going, hey, you guys have a great product. We've got the money to be able to make that 10 times better. And we don't even have to go out and find the people to work for us. We'll just buy out Dye. We'll buy out Eclipse. We'll buy the people who are already making this stuff and then double or triple their salary and give them all the resources they need to make their product that much better. I honestly feel like if that something like that were to happen, Tom Cole his soul would leave his body, because
Probably.
They would lose, because he would lose his portion. He stands to lose more than any of these companies would ever gain by investing big money in paintball. And the same goes for Dave Youngblood and Dye. There's still rumors that Eclipse might actually be up for sale. I know Jack Wood is, he enjoys what he does, but I think he wants to retire someday. I'm sure Jacko does too. But how much do they really want to grow the sport if it means that they're going to lose their piece of the pie?
I think you're right, but some of the things that prevent the sport from growing would be easily fixed, but they're not willing to do so. You're right, Tom Cole. He used to walk around the NXL, and Tom would come up and give you a hug, handshake, and how you doing, ask you personal questions. Now he avoids everybody, unless they're a money person involved with it. In my opinion, that's me.
Well, on that point, not sorry to interrupt your train there. I kind of don't blame him on that because of a lot of the negative fallout that he has been receiving over the past few years.
What negative fallout?
Well, there are a lot of us little guys, and I'm not going to speak for you as a team owner and coach. I'm not going to speak for you, Lupe. But like us little guys, the people who are either content creators, fans of the sport, or people who are trying to attend these events as a player, they're just not happy with the turnout. They're not happy with the compensation if they do place. And a lot of the locations are less than desirable,
Again,
and
money.
And as Eugene said, Bunkerfest is starting to show that these things are achievable, and I think it's got them a little worried. So I kind of don't blame him for wanting to avoid people at large.
Well, Bunkerfest. Let's just say this: Bunkerfest has no desire to go national. Their goal was to take Texas, and they've done a
Yeah.
good job of doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you talk to Chris, he's going to tell you it's always been about I want to take Texas, make Texas different, lead
Yep.
Texas in paintball, and he's done a good job. The USXBL has been falling off for a long time. It's not been performing well. It's the same teams made up of the same 2 to 3 fields that put players in there most of the time, but it's not been doing really well. The NXL is always going to be it. The same complaints come out every year. It's reffing. So they spend thousands of dollars getting new reps. Well, reffing's not easy. It's never going to be an easy job. You're never going to make all the calls correct. Are there some good reps and some bad reps? Absolutely. It was never about money when we play the event. You know, the guys will tell you, "Oh, I want to get a bigger payout." It's never been about money. You can bullshit that all you want. It's never been about money. Not for me. And if it is, you're playing the wrong sport because it's an expensive sport. And you knew when you got into it, it's cost you a fortune to play.
No, that's very true.
The entries go up every year. I mean, let's just talk about paint sponsors. They're not doing the things they used to do to help out anymore because they want more money, right? I know some of that costs more now, but it's reality. They're not giving you what they used to be willing to do. And one of my favorite things is when I walk to the NXL, I know everybody. You know, Hayden makes a joke when I go to the bus to get something. It could be an hour and a half before I get back because everybody stops me and we talk and we shoot the shit and we hang out and ask questions and
That's
take pictures.
Lupe's life story right there.
Same way, no, 100%. And I mean, when you see Lupe walk up, the room just lightens up. He's just a great guy. I love that guy. I've known him for years. He, you know, if I have some. I want to put my arm around him sometimes and just get advice from him because he's that kind of guy. And you know, when you walk around the NXL and you see Tom Cole kind of walk by, it's nice to see Tom walk. He walked up and had great conversations. And if I text Tom tomorrow because I have a question about an event, it may take him 48 hours, but he's going to always call me or text me back, right? And I think that's important in our sport because there are so many people that are aggravated and they find their own reasons why we're mad at the sport. The truth is, you want to be mad at something? Be mad at the dumbasses that are out there swinging and shooting each other 20 times in the face. And this is not hockey, right? When you go to hockey, you know what you get into hockey. We're using paintball guns. We have to be a little more professional. I have more outside sponsors than any team in Texas, probably any team in the U.S. for outside sponsors that have nothing to do with paintball. I have a new sponsor that's given us $2,500 for the next 2 events to help out with expenses. He has nothing to do with paintball, like the program, like what we're doing, excited to be a part of it, didn't even ask to be on the bus. But I'm going to put him there because I think he earned his right to be there. You know what I mean? And I need to advertise for him. We're going to be announcing him in a couple of days. But we can get outside sponsors to be involved. What we don't have a lot of is we need more spectators in our sport. That's the key. We got to get more spectators. That, you know, bringing the women's pro league in there was perfect for getting more outside spectators. But now we're charging them so much money to watch the events and we're making it difficult to see and you're blocking off all the stuff. I mean, think about Chicago last year. You couldn't even see the pro field at all in Chicago last year. I have to look at it again. You couldn't even see the pro field. We have to have spectators. I mean, think about it. You got the Dye booth as an example, and the Lux booth, and GI is selling stuff. But it's all the same paintball players coming through and buying the same stuff over and over again. We need people from each city out there doing it. You know, a couple events they advertised, and the thing is, it was free because the news team wanted to cover it just to get more people out there and to help grow the sport. But we didn't do a very good job, in my opinion, of really promoting it to the outside world like we used to. And I hate to bring it up, but you know, the MPPL wasted a lot of money on big venues, and they wasted a lot of money on these big shows and music and artists coming in and all that kind of stuff. But if you look at the shows that we had back then, the spectators were huge.
Yeah,
you could see 25,000 fans in the stands. Kids running around asking for autographs. You know what I mean? That was the good stuff. Lupe, you remember all that stuff? It was a great time for the sport of paintball.
Oh,
and I feel like now we got away.
Huntington Beach for me, that was the very first event I ever played was Huntington Beach.
Right.
And
wow, my favorite place.
I mean, talk about an introduction to tournament paintball. Prior to that, it was you know, locals. I did I don't know if you guys ever heard of Cal Jam, but that was something that Geo of Giant Sports, he did it out of SE Village, and then he started doing it at Hollywood Sports. But every year, Cal Jam, so Cal Jam was the very first event I played, but NPPL Huntington Beach was that was really my introduction to tournament paintball. And I mean, it was amazing. It's like you said, the venue, we were literally on PCH. We're right off the pier. There's just people walking by. Oh, what's all this going on? And they come walk, and there it was. You had guys surfing 10 yards away from, the pro field. It was fantastic. I agree. I mean, are we living, are we kind of like, putting on our nostalgia goggles and, living in the past a little bit? Yeah, absolutely. Could we get back to that point? I genuinely believe we could. If, like you said, Niles, if we can promote it properly, if we can maybe get some of these venues that are more accessible to the public, where we can get random foot traffic that just happen to be in the area, and hey, what's going on over here? I see all these people running around, So I don't know. But go ahead.
But just like back in the day, well, I mean, you gotta wonder what would it have taken to, attach a tournament to, like, say, a Vans Warped Tour when they were doing that. I mean, they were doing half pipe and all that. Well, I mean, run a small tournament or even an exhibition with like 4 pro teams or something like that. I mean,
absolutely.
Vans Warped Tour is like 50 dates. I would, maybe key ones, but or something like that.
Well,
I mean, not too long ago, I read an article on somebody looked up.
Sorry, go ahead, Lupe.
But somebody kind of did the foot traffic, or just did the research on how much it would be to rent like Tropicana Field for a paintball event. They said, yeah, we'll rent it to you for this much. And it was not out of the realm of, it wasn't something insane like you would think it would be,
Right.
And I know it's Tropicana Field, but that's just one example. But yeah.
Well, really quick. So if you guys, you guys remember, oh my God, Dennis, I'm drawing a blank on oh my God, we were on his show a couple times. Fred had put together the first.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, the first live event that, like, for TV, that happened at Walt Disney World at the MGM studio. And then on top of that, in the streets. And people were just standing there watching it. And it was the most viewed show that they had on ESPN for, I think he said, like 2 years in a row. And then on top of that, we had also, the show that was on ESPN for a while. And then we had a show that was on G4. We had a show that was on Fuse. They were on these channels, but obviously these channels have died out since. So, and that's how we were drawing in the younger crowd. That's how we were drawing in the people, was when it was televised. And they wanted to go to these, paintball. Oh my God, this person's driving 40 miles an hour and I'm trying to get onto the freeway. You idiot. Wow. Unbelievable.
Anger management.
No, seriously, it was literally 40 miles an hour to get onto
anger management around here is a 9mm.
No, it's a 45.
Yeah, I only carry a 40, guys, so,
I'm just saying. I actually had to draw on somebody driving the other day, Niles.
Oh, no.
What?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I let this guy in front of me because it merged down, and then he slams on his brakes and starts shooting me the bird. I'm like, I just let you in. So then I'm trying to go around him, and he's swerving at me. So I didn't point. I just did like this in the window. And the best part about it, it was some beat up Corolla He had a Marco's Pizza sign on top of it. That was the
Oh
best
my
part.
gosh.
Like, how stupid you gotta be when your phone number for your work is on top of you to do that?
Wow.
Oh no.
Jeez, I would have called him and been all like, "Hey, so by the way, your driver almost got shot,"
Yeah.
and yeah, but yeah. So I'm sorry. Yeah. When I drive, it's the worst thing in the world, especially when I've got people that are stupid. And I have to drive home on the 5 freeway, which where I'm at right now, it's only 2 lanes.
They have no context for how bad the 5 can get.
Yeah.
So
Well, here it's a 2-lane highway. One lane has all the semis, the other one has all the cars. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways,
Meanwhile, the car next to him is going, look at this moron talking to himself.
Right.
Doing 40 miles.
On that note, Lupe, about a year ago, the boys and I were riding to go to Fit to play, and I stopped to get money from the bank, and the guy, I just came over, and I guess he didn't like the way I came over in front of him. So when I pulled in the bank, he had a Mustang, just after dark, whipped up, and everybody knows I carry all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Whipped up behind me. Two guys jumped out of the car. Yeah, two guys jumped out of the car, and my son was in there, Hayden and two of the other players.
Yeah.
And they's dead. I was at the ATM, and I just rolled back and lifted up my shirt. Both guys gently got back in the car and left. I thought we were going to be tied up for a little while, but
Yeah.
oh, I love Texas.
yeah, me too.
I do too.
Some of them. Oh man, I'm
So-
sorry you guys aren't going to make Philly though. I really wish you guys would all be at Philly. I'm going to feel like I'm missing everybody.
I'm getting incrementally closer and closer to being able to pull this stuff off. So
Right. Well, let me say something too on that. While we were talking about that other thing, I want to go back to real quick, if you don't mind. Indulge me for a
no,
moment.
not at all.
Yeah.
See, one of our problems, if we keep doing venues in the middle of nowhere,
Thank
like
you.
Philly, it's the most expensive venue we have. It's in the middle of nowhere. So there's no spectators that are going to drive an hour and a half in the middle of nowhere, an hour or whatever it is. You know what I mean? The cheapest hotel within 20 minutes of there is $250 a night, right? 175, 250. No, it's 250, I think it was. So you got to stay 30 minutes. So even people that come in to spectate really don't. And the problem is when you go to an event like that, you know, when a vendor comes out and says, man, it's been a great event. I've done well. We made our money. It was worth coming out there. That's when you know you had a good event. When a vendor is telling you that, you know, we might have broke even, that's not worth coming out.
No.
You know what I mean? And the
No.
problem is we have too many vendors that aren't sharing success stories, not great ones. You know what I mean? You know, you want to see Lux come out and say, "Oh my God, we sold 100 guns this week and it was great. And all these jerseys and shirts and all this." Carbon. Now I know that Gangster has a good event every time because they've got a good mix of what they have, but we need all those vendors. But in order to have all those vendors there spending money, you also need people to come through that aren't the same consistent people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the way to make it. And I don't know that I have all the answers. I just know that I'm a business consultant for a living. That's what I do for a living, which has helped me run my operation with the Cyclones. And I know that if my sponsors aren't, I have to give them 150% more than what they provide me. I have to make them feel like that if I'm not with them, they suffer, right? As much as I
Right.
suffer, they suffer. That they have to think about that, wow, I really don't want to be without Niles and the Cyclones or whatever, because this is what they provide for me. I can't get what they provide for me anywhere else. And I try to tell younger teams that, man, you got to understand, it's work. And I think the venue's the same way. They got to stop thinking about, you got to pay me 20, and I don't even know what it is. It's $2,500 to $5,000 for a booth out there. You got to be able to make that money back.
Yeah.
You've got to feel like you're paying help to come out there, and you're shipping everything in, and there's just a lot of expense in this stuff. We need venues like they used to have, and I know most of the venues aren't super expensive. I know back in the day we wasted money, but you can still find a fairly decent venue, other than Qualcomm Stadium, that cost them what $600,000 or something like that I'm just throwing numbers out there. I don't know the exact figure. But Qualcomm Stadium, they made jokes about how expensive it was, and then they rented the big office for we don't have captain's meetings anymore. Isn't it hilarious? I used to love those things, man. They serve a little food, you have a good time. They don't even have those anymore where the captains got together, but they would rent this big building and they'd serve all the snacks and hors d'oeuvres and food and beer while you went into them. And we don't need to waste all the money on that, but what we do need to do is we need to make the sport and the vendors and the teams feel like that we really want to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My guys, this is terrible. After they play, they want to go back to the hotel, or the house. And man, I'm like guy goes, all right, I'll take you back, but I'm coming back. I got work to do here. You know what I mean? Because there's not as much activity going on. Shoot, you can order food in 5 minutes now. It used to be an hour and a half.
Yeah.
We don't have enough people. That's all I'm going to say about it. I just think we need to do a better job of getting spectators in our sport in order to truly keep it going.
I mean, what would it take for World Cup to be at Disney's Wide World of Sports, which is 5 miles up the road? I mean,
Absolutely.
they've done it before. That would be a great step. I mean,
Agreed.
Grant, where we're at is in the middle of a lot of like a major road, but nobody's gonna stop and look. They're going to Disney World,
Yep.
Agreed.
But we need. Well, no, I don't even know if that would. I was gonna say we need another Sky Dome, but who is? You can't really. It's not really that visible there,
Right. There has to be a happy medium in this whole thing somewhere.
Well, yeah. I mean, here's the other thing that kind of just occurred to me is that, going back a little bit, we were talking about some of the shows that, we saw back in the late 90s, early 2000s with paintball actually being on TV. I mean, the X Games is still a thing. It still exists.
We should be a part of that, honestly.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that to me feels like it might even be a really great niche event to have some sort of, like you had said, Lupe, even if it's just a 4-man or, a 4-team, kind of a promotional thing, just, hey, this
like
is
a one-day thing,
Yeah. But I feel like that kind of an environment would be perfect. I'm wondering what is the hurdle that needs to be overcome to reach out to something like that and say, hey, we kind of want to start, getting a little bit of brand recognition. You guys have the right environment, because I would imagine a lot of those guys, even if they never stepped onto a field with a paintball marker, would love to watch.
Yeah.
Here's an example of that right there. Right down from my house, about 10 miles on the way to the Woodlands, is a park that's set up that has motocross, BMX, soccer, and right on the other side is wakeboarding. You know what I mean? On the water, skiing and all that stuff kind of out there. And they have sporting, and they're all going at the same time. I was down by the other day, last weekend, and the line, I'll promise you, had 150 cars waiting to go in there. And they have a section on the side that for the last 2 years I've been going, why would we not hold a 100-team tournament or a 30-team tournament in that section and work all that together, right?
Yep.
That would be, and it's got a perfect spot for it. And I've talked to several people about, that should be somewhere we need to contact and run an event, because my gosh, they have the news teams are out there sometimes. ESPN is out there. What would be the opportunity if we're there where all this is going on that we can't get a feed over from all that? It's all about making our brand well. But nobody seems to, and I don't get it, because we used to. Oh my gosh, even San Diego back in the day was stupid crazy with people, right? Yeah. They had a concert at night, so they shut it all off. They put the concert on. Everybody had a good time, and they got ready to play paintball the next morning. And you'd have 30, 40,000. I still have pictures of people that had 20,000 people in the stands. Yeah. They had to bring more bleachers in to fit people in there. That's when you knew that, people were selling out of stuff. That's what we have to have.
Yep.
So anyway, I got on my soapbox. I apologize.
Yeah, these are the things that need to be discussed, and the fact that both of you guys are kind of in a position to give a better insight for that because of the fact that you're as closely involved with NXL and paintball as on a broader spectrum. I'll be the first to admit, as of right now, I'm a content creator. I'm a player second because I just, unfortunately, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. I've got I've got a kid to raise, and so unfortunately I don't get out on the field as often as I would like. This is my contribution back to the sport, doing this show and trying to provide a platform for you, Niles, to be able to talk about these things, for Lupe, for you to be able to talk about the things that are important for you. So that to me is what's. And actually, Eugene brought up a great point. Why can't we do this on a college campus?
It's funny you mention that.
That's a great idea.
Be.
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't. Yeah.
I just got to take the right college to do it because, a lot of them are just going to immediately see a gun and anything shaped like a gun and freak out. So
that's
A&M would have to be the one. A&M would have to be the one that would break that barrier because if they already have the classes, they've already got it set up. That would be the start of that, right? Mm-hmm. And there has to be a reason why it hasn't been done there yet. And hear me out on that, because Dan being there and being so involved, if anybody was ever going to get that approved anywhere, it'd be him, right? I would think.
And they part of the classes do reballs in the gym at the kinesiology building.
Wow.
For the part
so
of
we're already
class.
in.
They're already there. But I don't. I guess Dan's got so much going on. That'd be a question for him. But getting back to getting with, as you were talking about that park in the Woodlands or something. You know how it would get the NXL's attention if Chris did a bunker fest at one of those.
Yep.
You noticed the first bunker fest he did it at the same park that NXL did it in Austin. I was like, that was an odd coincidence. And there was a lot of traffic at that NXL because of all those soccer fields across the way.
Yep.
Yeah. And because remember what's right at that park in Austin or Round Rock is Dell Diamond, which is their minor league, where the Round Rock Express plays right there. Black's Barbecue is right there. There was a water park that's part of that whole park. There's Frisbee golf people all over the place, and there's all those soccer fields there. So
Yep.
And that place in the Woodlands sounds even better than that.
You and I need to meet out. You and I need to meet out there and go look at that one day when you have time and I'm in town.
Yeah, same here.
That would be a good idea. But let me say this too. One thing that I noticed that they didn't do at Round Rock is you remember back in the day there was banners all up and down the road, right? Entranceway to the parks and things.
Orlando.
Right. They didn't have any of that in Round Rock. You know what I mean? You had to
little
find your way.
The park. Yeah.
We're just missing the whole boat. We could be so much larger. And I think you're right. There's something to be said about maybe they don't want it to be as large. I don't know. I mean, we push so hard.
Again, that's kind of my perspective on it, and I actually have he's watching us right now on Twitch, so I have Mike at Charm City to thank for bringing that up, because he and I talk all the time. Almost, I reach out to him as frequently as I try and reach out to both of you guys just to kind of keep in contact, and he brought it up to me, and I said, I never quite thought about it like that. If initially my perspective was just the higher ups don't necessarily, they just kind of don't want to, relinquish control because then things aren't being done the way they like it. I never put it in the perspective of the actual literal dollars and cents. Like if they relinquish a portion of, the revenue that they might be getting from, running the league. And I understand that they have, the NXL has overhead. They've got to pay for, the licensing for the location of the event. They've got to do all of these various things in order to meet local laws, things like that. I understand there's more that goes into it than just, hey, this is where we're going to put up a field. But if they, again, if they relinquish even a portion of, whatever revenue stream that they're getting from the league, they stand to lose more overall than any of these outside companies would gain by investing in it. But again, my perspective, I'm literally standing on the outside looking in. And again, you guys have a more in-depth and a more nuanced view of how things are run, because you see it behind the scenes. We don't. So that's why I'm excited to hear both of your guys' opinions on this.
I love the NXL. I do. Mainly because they've given me an opportunity to do and grow my team the way I want to.
Yeah.
But I would love to. I'd love to be on the board so I could have an opinion. And I hear that's challenging to do. Same with Lupe. I think Lupe and I being on a board, because we started from the bottom, worked our way up, and we've been in it for 100 freaking years. But there's so many things that for whatever reason are being missed. I think that would be great. They've got the women's league now, pro circuit, which is phenomenal. I think we should do more for that, because it did do a great job at bringing more female players into the sport. He brought some more people that aren't in love with the sport into the sport. Now we got the new youth league back again, because we've gotten way away from youth for a long time, which is horrible, right? We've gotten back into youth. That's big. But the truth is, if we don't keep growing those side of that, this sport's going to die. I mean, Tom Cole said it not long ago that it's the same pro players, the same pro teams, year in and year out that are there. We need to bring more in there. I think there should be more than 20 pro teams, in my opinion, too. That's just me. I think the way they have it locked down on the way it is, I don't think it's a good idea. But I have my own version of why I think that's bad. But I think what it does is it makes it challenging for teams to not take a chance on losing players to go up to the other teams versus building their teams up to go, right? And that's always the fear. I hear it all over the circuit. Oh, I had a conversation with a couple of guys at the last event. After Matt took 3 of my players, this is what I'm done. It happens every time I turn around. Versus me, one of my biggest thing is I want to be one of the first teams to take local group to pro. And damn it, I'm going to do it. If it kills me trying, I'm going to do it, because I'm not willing to give up. I'm going to do what I said. And I've had people call me from overseas going, man, I'll show up for the event and I'll play. They play overseas in pro and they want to come play for us. I have people from California. I got one of the guys from New York Jesters wants to play for us. And I love them all. They're great players, but I have an advantage that most people don't. My players play every week together. They're consistent. We don't have high turnover like a lot of them do. And I think that gives us an advantage. And I want to do what I said I do. I started with the same group of young men and made them great together. You know what I mean? And one of the things I did is I realized when I reached a certain level that it was better for me to back off and hire coaches that are better equipped to handle things than I am, and let me just manage and own. And I mean, do they know when I'm mad about things? What my opinion? Yeah, I'm still in there. I mean, I'm at every practice, but I've had to turn some of that stuff over there, kind of like Lupe does.
Yeah, I had to go on pills to not get so mad.
Who are you telling? After 2 heart attacks, I feel like I didn't have a choice.
Oh, yeah. Well, 1 stroke, so catching up with you.
Oh, man.
It sucks getting old, but...
Tell me about it. I'm not that far behind you guys, so just stop. All right. Well, unfortunately, I've got to wrap this up. We went a little over, although it was fantastic, and I can't thank both of you guys enough for coming on tonight. But yeah, no. I mean, are you kidding me? You guys are family. This is always a pleasure, But
that being said, in a while, we're usually running past each other at an event. It's like, hey, Niles, what's going on? Hey, brother, what's going on? See you later. I gotta go.
Yeah, it was really funny. Like, before we started the show and when we were in the green room, and the first thing out of Lupe's mouth is, "I thought you were supposed to be on the road already."
Oh, I'll be on there tomorrow. Matter of fact, I'll take some pictures of all the places I'll stop all the way up there. But I look forward to the road trips, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but driving that bus solo, Niles, man, I almost wish I had the time off to at least help you,
Well, bring your laptop. I'll kidnap you. Let's go.
I wish I could, man. If I was still working remote, I got.
Man, I appreciate it. It's fun. It's the first time I've ever done it, but all the gear's on there. The players just happened to happen that everything happened, and they couldn't miss with so many practices we've had on the road and stuff. They couldn't miss a lot. So, And my contract is very specific that the bus has got to be on the road, the bus has got to be seen, the bus has got to be in different places. And I am one thing I am is a man of my word, and integrity is everything to me. And so I'm going to load up tomorrow night, and I'm going to leave here at 5 o'clock is my goal. Hayden told me he's not going to be home till about 5:30. Could I wait till he got home to say goodbye and all that? So it may be 5:36 before I get on the road, but I'd like to make it most of the way through Louisiana tomorrow night, and then I'll stop, sleep for a little while, and get up, brush my teeth, take a shower. And the good news about the bus is I can pretty much do anything I want.
There you go.
So makes it kind of nice.
There you go.
And everybody calls me. Yeah, this is a new one. And actually, I'm going to stop in Florida and look at the old bus now that it's 100% complete. And then on my way back, I'm going to be looking for a driver to pick it up and bring it home. I have it for sale right now, but the more I think about it, I think I'd be better off bringing it home and selling it here. And it's got a brand new engine, new transmission, new ACs, new airlines. It's a new bus. So I'd like to bring it back and at least park them side by side once and take some video and pictures. And but I will tell you, I'm enjoying the trip and I look forward to it. And I have a lot of great people that call me a lot and check on me when I'm on the road. And Christine Thurlow, which is Kyle's grandmother and lover, she's just family to us, but she will call me and stay awake all night and call me and check on me and talk to make sure I'm awake. So I have a lot of just great people, and my players are phenomenal. I'll stop by tomorrow night to see me off, and this is the first time that I haven't had Kyle or Hayden with me on a trip either.
Yeah,
I usually have 5 or 6 or 7 people with me, and this is the first time they're not with me, so just kind of feels different a little bit.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Kyle has been sick for the last couple of weeks and has been in the hospital, but he's expected to get out tomorrow. He's going to miss the event, and we're praying for him in full recovery. And you can never, you always want to miss a kid like him. Just a great personality and loving. So, and even with him being out, his family has showed so much support coming into this event that that's grandma. She want to make sure that when I leave tomorrow, hey, we're gonna be calling you all night and checking on you. That's just the way she is. Every time we take a road trip, she calls me all night long, and I love it. And I hear from you guys all the time too, and I appreciate it. But I know you're trying to get off here. I love you guys, man. I really, really appreciate it. Lupe, always a pleasure to hang out with you, my friend. You're one of my oldest friends, and oldest not in age. She's specific there, and I always look to you for great stuff and conversation, and I appreciate everything. And you're an ambassador to the sport for sure. And I love watching you with all the different teams and people and the stuff you do, and it's phenomenal and always a pleasure to be around you. And I appreciate you, sir. Same with you guys with Dennis and Eugene, man. I love you guys. Thanks for everything. And I will see one of you here soon.
Yeah. That being said, Niles, be safe on the road. Everybody who's watching or listening, put a little shout out there for the Texas Cyclones at Philly this weekend. I'm really excited to see how well you guys have been building on, each event we're seeing in progress. So this is going to be fun.
Looking forward to it. We're going to make Sunday this time. So we missed it by 1 point at the last event. Some learning things, you make some mistakes, but you know what? I have nothing to be ashamed of or complain about. I'm very happy with the way you guys have been playing. I made some changes on the roster this last event, moving into this one, so you'll see some differences there. So I'm excited. I really am.
Awesome. All right, Niles. Well, we'll let you go so you can finish up getting ready and be safe out there.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
See ya.
Oh my God, I love that man. He's so much fun.
Yeah, that's the most. That's the most I've talked to him this year because we literally are usually rooster tailing past each other. I'm like, I got to go to this field, all right? And he's headed one way. We'll talk like for 10 seconds. Hey, I'll see. I think I've seen him more in person at Florida and at Texas NXL than I do at Legends, and we were just there. I was up there yesterday, but of course he was at Zone, our home field, with the practicing there.
Right.
So, no, I mean, it's like every city here in Texas has their signature, like, program. Fit has the shut up lines, all the shut up lines. Over at San Antonio, they've got the Titans with all their different lines that are, and both of those programs are really, really well run. And for the longest time, Houston had nothing like that. It was Niles. When he says he hustles he hustles. They've got some very unique sponsors.
Yep.
So yeah, he hustles like nobody else. And our only issue is he's an hour away from us. Still in Houston. We're all both still in Houston, but he's an hour away.
Yeah, it's on the other side of Houston. Yeah, exactly.
Other side of creation. So,
yep.
Awesome. He does some great things. But yeah, November, y'all just get here and y'all can catch the bus the rest of the way with him.
That's one of the goals for November. I'm going to start banking some money away for, because I definitely would want to do that. It's not a bad idea. It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Cannonball run.
Cannonball run it, man. Load up our freaking cases of freaking Lone Star and head to Florida.
Oh man. You know what, guys? What I got to say, Dennis, is you did an awesome job. You really did. Honestly, it was like, man, I could just step away and just leave this show to you. You did an amazing job. And Lupe, thanks for coming on at such a short notice and everything. And always, you are always a pleasure to be on, and continue to send me those obscure movies, because I will continue to watch every single one of them.
Oh yeah.
It's like, that's the first thing I do in the morning when I get to my desk. I'm just like, oh man, what the hell is this? Some of the horror flicks I come across make Basket Case look like, Shakespeare,
Oh, dude. The movies that I've been when I'm sitting at work, I'm on Tubi, and I'm like, oh, okay, this one. It's like, what is it? I have no idea, but I'm going to watch it. Why not? It's just,
why not?
Bad. I got to watch it. So and this one today was amazing, and there's a clip in it at the end of it that I'm going to now take out of the movie and use it on Wednesday whenever I feel like it, just for the hell of it. And it's a little, and if you get a chance to watch it, Lupe, there's a moment at the very end where these two little kids are outside of a burned police station after all being killed, and this little kid has a fake toy gun. He's like, pew, pew, pew. And you could totally tell these are voiceovers, and these are older people doing this to the kids. And one of the kids is all, yay! And then he is under.
I don't know what's funnier, what he's saying or the way it sounds.
I was going to say, I thought he was singing I'm in Love with a Stripper by T-Pain,
Right? Oh my God. All right. Well, yeah. Unfortunately, Eugene, your signal got real bad, and you sounded like a what?
Whistling.
Okay, I'm back.
Stripper. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
All right, we better end it before I hit another dead spot forever.
Or it
Yeah.
goes to another
Yeah.
tunnel.
All right. If you guys want to get a hold of us, you can always email us at behindthemaskmedia@gmail.com. You can find us on most social medias at Behind the Mask Media. We are on Instagram. We are on TikTok. We have a YouTube. And obviously, you can find us every Monday, 7:30 p.m., broadcasting live across Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
The World Wide Web.
That's right. That's right. And on that note, Eugene, do you want to take us out, or do you want me to do it?
I will try my. How do I sound? Do I sound like I'm in a can still?
No, you're good right now.
Okay, so, all right, guys. So as always, drop your cash on those counters of those paintball stores. Let's grow this sport. Like we said, it does take money to grow this sport. So let's do that. Along with them paintball fields out there. Without your money, they will not grow. So we need them to grow. So with that, Dennis, get ready to be able to run that end. So it's funny to do this without any visual, but if you can shoot, you can move, then you can play.
And buy cookies.